Hello everybody and welcome to our episode number 68 of Around the World in 80 Tangos. And first of all, we hope you had a good start in the year 2021. Today is Sunday and normally we would dance in Café Dominguez, but Corona is still with us. So we will talk today about Tango Nuevo, Electrocutango,
Neo-Tango. And the number of today is Felino, recorded 2005, written by Sverre Indrisjona, a piano player and composer and producer and programmer from Norway. And the group is called Electrocutango, but it's more or less a project of Sverre Indrisjona. And this song is a duo, and it's only Sverre Indrisjona on keyboards and computers, and the bass player Steinar Haugerud. He plays double bass and attributes this fantastic arastres to this piece.
And in this moment we want to say hello and big hugs to our friends in Norway. We really miss you.
Yeah, Sverre was born in Oslo and grew up in Bergen, and he studied in Oslo and in Havana, Cuba. And he's a well-known composer and piano player for theater projects and film music and everything.
And this piece was made for a stage project with Pablo Verón.
The production was called Tango Ghost. So Tang Ghost, what all you can do with tango. They toured in 2006 and played in Prague, in Shanghai, in Beijing, and I don't know where else.
And Pablo Verón we also know from a very, very famous tango movie, Tango Lesson, from 1997, directed by Sally Potter. And there are three other protagonists in this movie, Gustavo Navera, Chicho-Frumboli, and Fabian Salas. We will talk about them a bit later when we will talk about Tango Nuevo in the dance. But for a moment, back to the Electrotango. There was one really famous group called Gotan Project, and the first album they produced it in 2001, and this was a big wave. Followed by Bajo Fondo, Otros Aires, Narcotango, and also Electrocutango and many others.
And not by chance, Gotan Project called their first album La Revancha del Tango, the Revenge of Tango. What does this mean?
We don't know.
Probably there was a time when there was a new tango wave after Sally Potter's movie that attracted people who were not so familiar with acoustic music, with traditional tango music, and with the codex of the milonga. And so there was a need for a simpler music, which was addressing people who were used to strong backbeats and pop music of the 80s and 90s. So this kind of music attracted people new to tango and opened ways and also formed completely new communities, which were apart from the traditional communities with strict salon rules and tandas and cortinas.
And it was easier for the people to get into the music at all.
Yes.
I read an interview with Pablo Insa in the Tangauta in these years, and he said, I really like this electronic tango music. The only thing is, it is a little bit flat to me. So I miss the layers of traditional tango. And if they would work more on this, it will survive, he said.
Yeah, that's true. I can understand this. This music has a different texture. It's simplified and it has another mood than traditional tango, and not without reason. Gustavo Navera, who was doing new things, he was deconstructing tango moves. He never danced to this music. He always danced to traditional tango music in his way.
But there's still nice music.
Yes. I like especially Electrocutango. That's why we have chosen this piece. And they had a second album in 2011 called Adrenalina. You will find this and also the album with Felino on YouTube. And for me, it's really nice music. I wouldn't dance it, but to listen to it's well done. They have nice milongas and it's very powerful.
Let's go back to the dance. There is another protagonist. He was born in 1913, but in the 40s, we could say he was one of the innovators when we talk about the dance.
His name is Carlos Alberto Esteves, called Petróleo. Petróleo means petroleum, and as he confessed in an interview, that it was chosen because he used to drink a lot of red wine when he was young. Later he changed to gaseosa, to
Bubbles.
bubbles. And he said that's even worse.
And he didn't want just a woman in his arm. He was looking for a dancer, what it means.
Yeah, he was saying he was trying to avoid the sexual aspect in tango. He said that the dancers before his time, before he reinvented tango, they were always looking for the inner thigh of the lady. They were intrusive, so they were looking for contact, for the sex. And this he avoided. He said he was looking for the dancer, the other person who danced with him. And he invented things like the cross and the turning system, right turn, left turn, the boleos. And I think with him started the construction of the embrace. Two people in front of each other, whereas in the old times they were opened in a triangle and looking in the same direction, more or less. I think this was his purpose, the renovation of tango, the invention of steps. He describes the tango community as very competitive in this time. So everybody wanted to be the best. Everybody was convinced, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. And so everybody was inventing stuff to impress and to find new movements. So he did, and he also thought he was the greatest in his time. And then it was his topic to expulse the sex from tango. He was working all his life in a bank, and I think this is a very interesting pairing. Somebody who is working correctly in a bank, and at night he goes out to dance and he practices like mad tango with his partner and invents things, but is anti-sexual.
Let's do a jump to the music we call Tango Nuevo. It's a completely different thing. And we have to talk about Astor Piazzolla. He was the inventor of Tango Nuevo musically.
Yes, that's how he named his new music. We all know that he performed with dance orchestras, with Aníbal Troilo and others. And 1955, the same year when Perón was overthrown in Argentina, he came back from Paris, from his famous intermezzo, the stipendium with Nadia Boulanger. He was very encouraged and formed his first own ensemble with strictly Tango Nuevo, as he called it. And this was the year when he published his Decalogue, his 10 commandments for the new music. The most important was, we don't play to dance. We play for listeners who are sitting quietly and concentrated. And we don't play songs. Later he also composed for lyrics, for singers, but mostly his music was instrumental. And this caused also the big revolt among the traditional tango community. Sometimes the whole place where he played was divided into two parties, very opposed to each other. And he had to play under the hail of rotten tomatoes and whatever.
Poor guy. Back to the dance. In the time of the movie Tango Lesson, the three guys we talked about, Gustavo Navera, Chicho-Frumboli and Fabian Salas, they three guys, and of course Pablo Verón, but they three, they were looking for a different style of dancing, I would say.
I think it was a sort of a revolt against the traditional tango masters, because sometimes tango teaching is something that makes the whole thing very difficult. So the people were told you have to walk for 2 years, then I can start to show you some step or whatever. So the whole thing had a big threshold to step over. And I think these guys tried to make it easy for themselves because they wanted to perform, they wanted to improvise, and also for their students. So it was a way to make tango more accessible as a dance.
I remember one interview with Chicho-Frumboli. It was quite arrogant. I don't know if he is right, but he said if we three wouldn't have made this work that we did, so the Tango Nuevo, then tango would be dead now. I think that was in the middle of 2010 or something. And I thought, yeah, maybe could be, because when I started, this wave just came up and it was interesting stuff. And I remember Pablo and Dana, they were the protagonists in this time in Berlin mostly, and Pablo Inza and many others. It was a new time, and I still can remember the smell of there's something coming new.
Yeah, it was quite thrilling. And yeah, maybe Chicho is right that without this renovation, tango as a dance would be dead or would be more an edgy thing, not very interesting anymore. The problem is when you really take this seriously, when you try to copy Chico-Frumboli, then it becomes difficult. I remember tales of people who lived in Paris in this time while Chico-Frumboli also stayed there. And he was really influential, and the city was full of little Chichos. And imagine a milonga with 50 Chico-Frumbolis. One is really enough, and he's a pain in the ass for all the other dances, but imagine more of them. So it was more or less a natural development that people started again to diminish these movements. Tango Nuevo was the expansion of movements. Dance became athletic. Also for the ladies, you needed some extra training. You needed yoga or whatever to be able to perform these kind of extended movements. And so to have a social place, a place where you can have fun without getting injured all the time by high flying legs and I don't know whatever. I think it was a necessary development that the movement after the reformation of the whole thing became smaller again and social.
Always a different quality, we can say,
Indeed,
than before.
Indeed. I must say that the quality they added to the movement, the relation between the two participants of the project Tango Dance, this was a very important contribution for us.
And with this statement of Raimund, we say goodbye from our episode number 68 of Around the World in 80 Tangos. We wish you a great new year and we will see each other again. This was today.
Felino. The band is called Electrocutango. It's a project of Sverre Indrisiona. He composed this piece. He is a producer, a piano player and a programmer. And this was played with the bass player Steinau Haugerud. Felino, 2005.
Thank you for traveling with us through tangos we love and we hope you enjoyed it. This was
Daniela and Raimund, Tango Mundo, Berlin.
Stay healthy, stay home, take care.
Bye bye.